Hey guys, so yeah, I haven't done a YouTube video in quite a long time, probably like a week and a half or something like that. So yeah, I'll just give you guys an update. The last one I did was is the Kiln. So it's running smoothly, stuff like that. Actually, I haven't used it since that video, but I'm sure it's fine. And then so since I had the Kiln going, I decided, sort of, I made a video of that. Okay, I'll start, using the hydrogen torch and propane, just regular propane, the hothead, and the tank started leaking, the flashback arrestors started fusing together, or like the top of the one in the handle started sort of like malfunctioning. It worked, it was one time, sort of went back, and then the pressure sort of built up behind. Like, I think it just fused a lot of the bronze wool together, so it was like really hard for that to go out, and then, or really hard for the gas to go out, and then that ended up making the hose barbs, or the nylon hose barbs on the big tank. The one that I didn't solder or didn't plastic weld, it started to leak. So I was like, so I decided to just take the time to solder them real quick and stuff like that, or plastic weld with soldering iron. Those actually didn't end up working too well. Still leaked. It just worse. It leaked a ton. And yeah, I just kept on doing that. Kept on trying to weld it more and more. Just ended up not working. And I finally decided just to stop. Just to quit with the hydrogen torch and go get myself a good propane oxygen torch. So yeah, this is like a Redmax, I think. I got it off Craigslist for $450. I think Sundance, whatever you call it, glass blowing, whatever. They sell it for $450, but it also came with the hoses, the regulators, and the flashbacks, and the flashbacks and the regulators are pretty expensive. If I were to get the hosing, regulators, and flashbacks from new, it would have been $200, around there. Maybe 180 or something like that, but pretty close to 200. And then you add it on a really cheap torch, like the National 3A or something, just a hand torch. That's $90 without a tip. You gotta get a tip, and by that time it's like $320 or something like that. Get a tip, maybe get a couple. I don't know. Maybe you just get one. That's another $20. Pretty much, and then plus tax and stuff like that. It's gonna be above $350 by the end. And I just decided, might as well go with, a more than a beginner's torch. Something that's gonna last me. That's something I'm not gonna grow out of, And and be able to have, pretty much two torches. One is a mega miner, pretty much just like the Nortel miner, I guess. And then, big torch for later on, once I get an appropriate oxygen supply or stuff like that. But yeah, definitely will be using this really only for a while, and just really just building up the skill. But it's great beginners, so yeah, I'll be doing that. And you guys can see behind all this stuff, I got some oxygen concentrators. So that one right there, got off Craigslist, $100. It's pretty good. They listed it for $200. Said I could get off their hands for $100, and they gave me it. $100 for, it only has 16,000 hours on it. Pretty good for like an oxygen concentrator. It's a 5 liter per minute. They're Invacare Perfecto2, whatever, or Perfect02, I don't know. And this right here, this is actually listed as like broken, or you know, parts only or for repair on Craigslist. So I ended up getting it for $30. And when I called up the guy, he said, you know, turn on, it would actually produce gas, and then it would like turn off after 30 seconds or 20 seconds, and you know, there'd be like an audible alarm. So I thought, you know, okay, I could probably you know, play around with it and get it to work. And that's what I did. So I mean, there's like a whole like control board right there. Let me just get the tripod collapsed. Yeah, so you guys see right there's a whole control board, and right over there's 2 LEDs. And yeah, they'll actually, if they're flashing, then there's a problem. And yeah, so they were flashing. There was at first it was 2 green, 1 red, you know, 2 green, 1 red, and that means like high pressure or something like that. Which really just means like replacing this, the 4-way manifold, or the pilot valve. There's 2 pilot valves, and this one is just more for where the compressed air is going to, and then this one's for really, I think the only thing that's for is wait a minute. I know I searched it up, and I know there's one that refills the other just a little to purge out some stuff. I think that's, or to do something like that. So anyways, yeah, this one was really it. So I just ended up unplugging all the tubing, getting this out, which is like sort of hard to do, especially with this tubing is like rock hard. It's got 35,000 hours on it, so, or it's like 32. I'll show you guys. Hope you guys could see that. It says 35, almost 36,000 hours on it. So yeah, and so I think that tubing's just getting really stiff. Or maybe it's just like this, but it's really hard to get off. And yeah, so I mean, after sort of taking all these zip ties off, sort of, you know, getting this out and then unplugging and stuff like that, finally got it. I took it apart. First took the 4-way manifold apart, or not really apart, just disconnected it from this whole system. It disconnects like somewhere around here. Just, you screw it in, whatever. It's 4 bolts pretty much. And then I you know, unscrewed this part, looked at right there, looked at the O-ring, everything looked pretty good. So yeah, just pretty much put it together, screwed it pretty tight. Screwed this one pretty tight too, And when I put it back together, you know, I turned it on. First, there was a big leak right here, so that's why I got the hose clamp. And it sort of screwed up this. I could probably put another hose clamp right here. Maybe later, I don't know. But yeah, pretty sure right after I did that, the signal lights ended up flashing 3 green and 1 red, which means low pressure. So, you know, I decided, okay, I'll clamp that up. I think I did these two. I don't think these really matter. This is just like the exhaust. You see right there. I'm pretty sure. I'm not totally sure though. But yeah, and oh, I think never mind. But yeah, once I did that, I noticed that, like, I mean, it's still flashing a little for a little bit, but I noticed that it just keep on running and it wouldn't turn off, or because once the thing it goes on like auto shutdown after 20 seconds, and then you get a continuous audible alarm with the 2 LED, or the 2 green and 1 red flashing. But with this, it didn't, so ran it for a little longer and stuff like that, and then the flashing went away. So yeah, this pretty much it might actually be fixed. I mean, I know it's not as, like, it doesn't seem as potent as that one. I don't know. I could try it on the torch, you know, but yeah, it's I could definitely, first of all, the motor or the compressor, let's see, that stuff was plugged in. I don't think this, here, just in case, I'll just use this. You see, you know, the springs on springs, so it's pretty quiet. I mean, it has to be quiet if someone has this by their bedside, you know, and sleeps with it. But something is pretty loud. I mean, I don't know, it's just a lot louder than that one. I'm pretty sure this is the muffler. Yeah, this is actually the muffler. And actually, maybe I just have to adjust that. But I called the Invacare services. There we go. Let's see if that works. But I called Invacare services and told me to take the little gray, like, siphon, or it's just like a, looks like styrofoam, but it's almost like a soapstone or whatever, like for aquariums, and see if there's any white powder in it. There wasn't, but if there was, then that means one of these things exploded and it's starting to leak stuff out, which would be bad. But yeah. And yeah, then another thing I noticed about this one compared to that one, so, you know, I was actually looking into this and, like, sort of seeing how it works. I'm not totally sure how it works. It's a 4-way port, whatever. So this is from the compressor. It probably automatically charges up one of them without the solenoid on, and then once the solenoid on, it charges the other. That's what I'm thinking. And that would, so when it's off, it would probably, you know, put pressure on something that would make one of these turn off. Or no, one of the, there's 4 slits, or maybe even 5, I don't know, I think it's 4. And it goes to like, I don't know, something weird, but it'd probably just block off the airflow to here, or maybe to here, but then, I don't know. Yeah, I think this is right, but then it would not block off the airflow to this, so then it could escape. But since it'd be going to this one, then the pressure and whatever, it'd block off this, not block off the one over here. So you go there, block off this, and then when it turns on, it ends up putting pressure on some thing, some like valve thing, whatever, and then you know, pretty much open this so it goes here, close this so nothing escapes, and then opens this so this couldn't escape. And that doesn't even make any sense. I don't really know. Maybe you'd have to close both of them, whatever. But yeah, it's sort of a weird thing. Like, still didn't really get it when I was looking at it. And then there's also the solenoid valve. It's like you got like the piston sorta on a spring. There's and that's pretty like, it's not like a tight fit. All it really does is plugs a hole, and there's 2 holes in this little chamber, and really, I'm pretty sure this could let gas out under it, because there's a hole. So yeah, I don't know what that does. So yeah, that's that. And yeah, so the when I got it, it didn't come with a cabinet filter. It only came with this, and you guys can see right there. I think it's actually gotten a lot dirtier since I've been running it, so I'm not gonna run it until I get these HEPA filters in the mail, which should be coming today. Yeah, that's not terrible. It's just right there. It's for, I think this one's for more like bacteria. Oh no, this says a HEPA filter. Yeah. Well, I got one, like a more porous, or like a, I don't know, more what a little more, less fine. There we go. Yeah. So, and I'm not gonna. I mean, since these things are like, I think usually if you buy them new, I think they're like these models in the 5 liter per minute. I think they're at least above 1,000, maybe even up to 2,000 bucks, but they're at least above 1,000. I mean, I've seen ones on Craigslist that they're used, they have low hours, and they're being sold for 1,000. So I'm sure the new ones are pretty up there. And yeah, and I mean, probably really 2 things. First, I mean, it's like medical, so people are probably just gonna spend money on their health. You know, they don't really mind spending that much. Plus, I mean, insurance probably covers some of it, so that's why it's so expensive. And this is what I'm thinking. I don't really know. And then yeah, and then I mean, it has to pass like a bunch of, you know, regulations, and you know, gotta make sure there's no dust coming out of this thing. So there's a lot more stuff than really would be needed for this. Although the I mean, these canisters are where the zeolite is held in the zeolite absorbs nitrogen when, like, as air compresses in the cylinders or whatever. And you don't want to, I mean, you have to replace them, I think every like 50,000 hours. I don't know. Or I mean, really until like it fails. But, you know, oils will get in there, and if you got dust and stuff like that. And I guess they'll probably just really be trapped in there. And after, I mean, 50,000 hours is a long time. So, you know, I mean, a lot of the pores in the zeolite will probably be trapped, and it won't be absorbing nitrogen as much, and the concentration of the oxygen coming out of it is probably too low. So, yeah, but I mean, I was actually thinking, that's what I thought what was wrong with this. So I was actually thinking I could pop open right here. Pop it open. There's actually a little crevice right there, so I could pop it open. Pour the zeolite out, and then just put it in like a bucket. Put denatured alcohol into it, and that'll dissolve a lot of the oils. And then, you know, after that, pour it off, and I'd probably have to, you know, fill it with fresh stuff a couple times, fresh alcohol a couple times, then pour it all out, and then bake it so it evaporates all of the alcohol, and then put it back, and it should be pretty good. Yeah, because that should dissolve all the oils out of the so if it ever comes to that, I'll try that out. But the cool thing with these models, you see Sense O2, and you can actually see where that tubing, that white tubing right here, that's actually a O2 sensor. So if it falls, I think somewhere around 85% or below, you'll hit this. It's an orange light. Sort of just means like something's sort of failing, starting to fail, whatever. But then if it hits this is 75% or below, that means something sort of just needs to be replaced. That's what it actually. I mean, if this is on, it doesn't really. I don't think it totally means it's the purity. It might be something else. I mean, that's what that thing was on, the red light right here. It was on every time this thing was like not working for me. So yeah, I mean, high pressure or low pressure could affect the purity, I guess. I don't really know, but yeah. And yeah, so I'll be able to tell what the purity of stuff is, and see if replacing, or see if, you know, putting the zeolite in a solvent and, you know, doing all that stuff, if I, you know, put it back, run it, and this turns on, then I know it works, and that'll be cool. Because I mean, again, this stuff is like medical, whatever. So I think one of these is 85 bucks. That's a lot of money. That's over, it's almost like triple what I paid for the whole thing, you know. So yeah, I mean, I definitely, you know, want to try to fix it myself and buy a brand new one. Yeah, and that's all. I get, and if I, well, so I think when you're like rejuvenating the zeolite, if it's contaminated, I think you could put under a vacuum, and that'd probably work. It'd probably get a lot of the oils out, or a lot of the oils will probably start evaporating. But the problem is, I got a vacuum pump, but it's a you know, it's got oil, so I think oil might go back into the system. So I don't know how well that's gonna work. But I mean, definitely heat will not really heat, but you know, dissolving it, and you gotta dissolve it in like a liquid that will be able to evaporate pretty easily. So I see my battery is probably gonna run out soon, but I'll just keep on talking because there's actually like even more stuff. So when I got this, along with, you know, the hosing and stuff like that, the regulators, and you guys can see it's at, what was that, 140 psi. It's probably good. I actually haven't checked it. Then this is 0 because this is off. And I mean, there's definitely enough knobs. There's one for the top, one for the bottom, and then you got this, and then you got that. So it's pretty good. Here, I'll just say something about this thing while we're here. So I mean, I've tried it out. I just tried it like 2 hours ago, and so first, you know, you just sort of get the propane going a little. You light it, sort of. I don't know, just get a good flame, I guess. I mean, it's just like a really orange, bushy, really high carbon flame. And then you turn those on. You open these up, and yeah, it works pretty well. You start seeing the blue, it just automatically goes to blue. Once those things, when they first start up, I think it's because the valves or something are adjusting. It'll go up to there and then sort of go down and then go up to where you set it. And you know, so once it gets there, it gets a good flame. It's sort of hard though, because you want to open this up pretty quickly. Let's see, I don't really want to open it now, but if I was on this one, you gotta open it up pretty quickly, or else it'll actually restrict that. And I've actually restricted it a little too much, and actually got this. Yeah, that's not good. So yeah, and I was thinking of putting up like a pressure relief valve. Probably, I don't know what the PSI on these are, because I've tried running these things through the oxygen regulator I got, but it's sort of weak. It doesn't really show up on the meter, and it restricts it a lot right here. You can start seeing the flow rate go down just a little, you know, probably like a liter, half a liter, a liter per minute. It goes down when you got the whole thing on, so I decided to go without it. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the real thing was the flashback arrestor that I wanted, but it doesn't really matter because you're turning off the oxygen first. So, you know, yeah, you turn it off, and there's not going to be any propane going back in there, you know, so you don't really have to worry about any of this stuff getting back. This is a surface mix, I'm pretty sure it is, so it's not like it's mixing in there and then it can go back. But as long as you got stuff going in that direction, it should be fine. But I do notice the definitely the flow rate is a lot, and probably the pressure, along with the flow rate. Because I mean, like, it's a lot more for the oxygen. Like when I feel it, I can feel it pretty good out to here. As opposed to this, it's hard to even feel it. It's like sort of like you can sort of feel it right here. I don't know, but so it's definitely more with that. So it's gonna be a lot more, and it's probably higher pressure too, because it's going. You actually don't really know. I'm pretty sure the little nozzles, I've tried just plugging these right, just like that, and seeing if this thing goes down, and it doesn't, which means the oxygen isn't coming out of the tube. So I think it's coming out of like the spaces between the tubes, I think. I'm not totally sure. You guys see that? So yeah, that would mean I don't know really where I was going. Oh yeah, that means the resistance might be a little different than these, so the pressure could be different. I don't know, but it just seems like it's a lot more power, air power coming out of these than this. Yeah, but there really shouldn't be any propane coming back into the greenhouses. Yeah, and I mean never mind. But so for the pressure relief valve, just first, well, when you turn these off, it'll give off a little more for like 15-20 seconds. It'll stay at a pretty good, like, where you set it. And so you'll get for about more like 10-15 seconds, it's like a pretty good oxygen output out of this. So you turn those off, and then you gotta do stuff over here. But if you close this too quickly, then the pressure is gonna build up and might break this, which is why I wanted the pressure relief valve. But since I got two knobs here, what I was sort of thinking, I could crack one open, sort of push it down, crack it, and then just totally, or I think it's this way, yeah, it'd be this way to close it. Just totally, get that closed, and then just sort of relieve all the pressure through this, and yeah, that really should be fine. As long as the propane's off, should be fine. Propane's gonna be burning already right here. Might give a little more oxygen. It probably won't do much, but yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, that's really all. I gotta look online and see what kind of like flame, pretty much what kind of the maximum output of the mega miner, the one at top that I'm gonna be using. See what like the maximum output and the maximum, like the greatest flame you can get out of that, which is a little hard when you see on camera, because camera will pick up a little more than what you actually see. But yeah, I think I'm getting pretty close to the maximum output. I mean, the flames probably at to here-ish. You can see it start like withering this way because I got that thing going. But yeah, it gets out to here. But I could definitely, the cones are like this big. At least when I was doing it, the cones were that big. But I could see the cones really well. And on other ones, on like YouTube videos I've watched, like, you can't even see the cones. So I don't know if it's the camera or if it's, mine isn't even hot enough. But I mean, I'm running this 9 liters per minute for oxygen. I think that's good enough. You could probably run it a little more. I don't really know, but I'd say that's gonna be good enough. And then this thing's probably like 2 liters per minute. It comes out barely use any propane, which is really cool because I'm gonna be able to save a lot on propane. So definitely happy about that. Like, you can barely even hear it with a hot head torch, like a Bernzomatic, propane torch. When you can hear that thing. Like, when it doesn't light, you get here like a, and then a light. But this thing, you can barely hear the thing come out, so it's probably, it could be like the structure of that thing is just sort of echoing the sound, or maybe the nozzle, since there really isn't too much regulation on that thing. The little nozzle is just high pressure to low pressure. You hear that effusion sound, but yeah, I'm not too sure about that one. But yeah, so $450 for the torch, all that stuff. Like I said, the regulators, these, and whatever. $100 for that, $30 for that. So what are we up? And then 150. They paid 150 for the kiln, and the Arduino is pretty cheap. It was like $7, so we could just add another 20 to that, 170, which would be good for the 30. So 200, $300 plus 450, 750, and pretty much 750, which is quite a lot. But with a good torch like this, it doesn't seem like too much. And I'm sure people spend like double, maybe triple on this setup. Yeah, so I'm not accounting that thing in. That's gonna be more multi-purpose. Plus, I just don't really want to count that thing in. It's sort of, it's a lost cause. It goes, there's definitely a lesson learned from doing that project. Like, more, don't do things from scratch, pretty much. And yeah, it's just, this thing has worked pretty well, so I could get broken stuff and then just try to repair it, and that might actually be the best thing. This thing could have been broken, it would have been fine, as long as the coils were good and the bricks weren't too bad. Would have been fine. Plus I got it for 150, so you can't really complain about that. The torch, I don't know if I'd play around with making one of those. Yeah, it's, when you build things, it's definitely an investment. You're not sure whether you should go all in, or there's degrees of going, all in pretty much. I would probably go with cheap valves, stuff like that. When you see stuff like $20 a piece for a valve, and then you got to get, at least 2 of them, it's $40, and you're not sure if this is gonna work. You're not sure, like, whether you're really gonna, I don't know, you don't really want to spend too much money on a lost cause, sort of like that thing. So you sort of go the cheaper route, and then it just doesn't work, and then you just go the more expensive route because you're desperate. Works a little, but not full potential, you know. So I decided, you know what, I'll just go get that. You know, it looks really nice, and I'm sure this thing's gonna last me. I hope it lasts me quite a while. Yeah, just, man, you guys can see the inside of that sucker. Look at that. So I'll go show you guys. Oh yeah, another little update is I've been cleaning my the storage unit. My parents have a storage unit that they're gonna close pretty much. So we're cleaning that out, and I pretty much got some stuff. This is a UV light, which will be really cool. It's for an aquarium, I think. So you see aqua, ultraviolet. So I think there's a ballast thing in there, or a little thing to run the UV light. The UV light. I think it says 15 watt unit. So yeah, it'd be really cool, and I'll be able to. There's some stuff that I could do with it. I think it's a fluorescent UV. So, and here's the gateway computer. Here's a gateway computer. Right here. I don't know. I might actually try to sell it. I don't know. I've been selling a bunch of things on Craigslist. I've already got $140 from selling on Craigslist, and I probably got another $100, or I got another $150 that I could get off of Craigslist. Here's some tennis rackets. These actually might be nice. I have to do some research on those. Got some helmets I'll probably just sell. I mean, I should probably do some research on these too. But yeah, you know, I got one buyer lined up too for $50, so it's good. Man, I'm sure the battery's getting die out really soon, so I'll show you guys my closet because it's gonna be pretty cool. Another thing about the $30 oxygen concentrator, it's it came from like a hospital, so you know, it's not too great, just because, you know, super bugs, all the antibiotics, and you know, really strict cleaning agents and stuff is just gonna wipe out any bacteria not resistant to that. Keep the bacteria that is resistant, that you can't kill with antibiotics, and those bacteria are gonna have all the food and all the resources, so it's just gonna be a lot more frequent over there, and they won't die off from just, you know, not getting enough food, because it's competing against other bacteria. So let me get the lighting good, because this is pretty impressive. This is the Mac Daddy of my Craigslist buying. Okay, the lighting sort of sucks, but right there, all this stuff, besides these back things, I already had this little stuff. I already had that before. But all this, including this tubing, probably around 50 pounds, I don't know, got for free when I got that, here's some color, that stuff's probably pretty expensive. Got color in 4-foot sections, and got a bundle of it in this Borasil. So I think it's Borasil, hope. Yeah, got all that stuff, pretty much free, along with the torch I got. So it's 450 bucks for the torch, all this glass, the hosing, the regulators, flashback arrestors. So, oh, and a set of these 2 books. You got Contemporary Lamp Working. Who's this by? Yeah, you got, I don't know if that's by him. Bondi Dunham. I don't know. Volume 2. Got Volume 1 that I'm reading right now. And it's actually a pretty good book. Yeah. Like page 100 already. And I've actually read probably almost every word. And I read some stuff in the back too for the safety. So, yeah, pretty good. Really nice history of lamp working and stuff like that, etc. So, all that stuff for 450 bucks. So, I probably could have actually gotten some more stuff. I just wasn't really thinking about that. I was sort of just thinking about the torch and you know, little extensions to it. He did say he had some graphite tools he could throw in. I just wasn't even thinking about that once I saw all this glass. Yeah. Oh yes. So sorry if I forgot what I was saying. The battery died, but yeah, I think I was saying something about almost getting the what'd you call it? The glasses, the glass blowing glasses. Yeah. He asked me if I wanted or if I had, like, you know, good glass blowing glasses. I think he almost gave me it, or he almost, you know, would have like thrown them in, but it's alright. I got some, and you know, I mean, it's, I don't know, it's just so awesome. Look at all this. Look at all this rod. Look at these 3 huge tubes. These things are probably pretty expensive. You know, 50 pounds. Not even, it's probably around 40, 50 pounds. Maybe even more. I don't know. But, in really the closest distributor, the closest glass distributor, Scientific Glass Blowing Supply in Richmond, California, sell for like $6 or $6.50 a pound. So that'd be around like $300, and I wouldn't. Yeah, it's probably, look how thick that stuff is. See this stuff? It's so thick. Let's see if I can get. Yeah, this probably is. It's a little thinner on this stuff. Let's see if I can get at this. You guys can see that right there. I think it's the same as that. You know, I think that's some new stuff too, right over there. This stuff isn't new. But all that, look at all that color. Good. Even got some clear ones. I think some clear ones are right over here. So yeah. Yeah, so I got a lot of stuff. And yeah, I'm just pretty happy about that. So yeah. Yeah, that's probably gonna be it. I don't know if I showed you guys my, I think I did, my new chair. It's very comfortable. Ooh. And yeah, let's get some light in here. And yeah, I think that's gonna be it. Oh, let's see what I need to do next. I'm not sure if I should go for those, ooh, I don't know. I don't know if I should go for a, well, thing is, I don't know what the pressure is. Oh my god, I don't know what that is. I don't know what the pressure is for the liter per minute, or for the oxygen concentrators. I'll need to know the liters per minute. They do have like a little screw on the top, and I've seen one glass blowing video, and it was like how to modify your, oxygen concentrator for glass blowing or whatever. And yeah, it looked like they just sort of tweak that a little, and I guess you could adjust the pressure with that. I don't know if that's gonna have, like, if that's gonna make your thing work more or less, or whatever. I don't really want to like play with it and then forget where it was. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with that. I'll look more on that. But I mean, the thing works pretty well right now, so I don't know if I'll, try to make it better and then screw it up. Yeah, I mean, that's it. So yeah, I'm not sure about the what would you call it? The overpressure valve, what do we call it? Yeah, whatever. You guys get it. I'll look online, see if there's a good, I just don't really know what the pressure is. Maybe they're, I don't know, I think it's around 5 psi. So I'll go, like, if it hits 7 psi or something like that. Sort of starts, if I just have it let out a little, that'd be good. And then it would need I want, like, it to have, like, hose bar and a 1/4 inch hose bar. Pretty much like these. I got these. So, they're the T's. So I can connect them, like, yeah, wait, let me think about this. Yeah, I can connect, probably up to 9 or 10 of these things up, so, or 11, maybe. Cause like quantity of 10. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. I really want to take a nap right now, but I don't know if that's. It's just because I was waiting for the GoPro to charge up, and for some reason, the little, I just use these to charge the GoPro. These are just the iPhone, wall to USB converter or whatever. For some reason, whenever I plug it into this one, it never works. And I thought it was the cord, but the cord works in the garage, and obviously it works right here. So I was waiting like 20 minutes. I checked it, and like it didn't even charge up. So I sort of like not too happy about that. And then I ended up eating lunch and watching YouTube. Now I'm just sort of tired. I need to probably need to do some exercise. I could play some Pokemon Go. That might be good. I already got the whole setup, but my phone doesn't really work too well with Pokemon Go. which is the annoying part. But I think it's like almost full charge, so I'll queue it up on my Wi-Fi and then just go just in the neighborhood. You know, get some fresh air, some nice sunlight. Hopefully some good Pokemon. And hopefully not any phone freezing. And yeah, I'll get you guys back. Man, there's things I have to do that I just forget to do. I forget what they are. And it's really easy if I just have it right here. This was like yesterday's. I started to go to the storage unit. I had to get these two things, which, yeah, these two. I do a YouTube update. I ended up not being able to do that, but I'm doing it right now pretty much. Computer dismantle. Since we're cleaning out the storage and sort of just doing all that stuff. There's 2 or 3 computers there that the parents want these things to be gone, so I don't know if I'll destroy them yet. I might just try to wipe it out so then you can use them again. And then if I ever just I don't know, about to recycle them, then just scrap them for the magnets in the disc, because there's some pretty good metals in there. And yeah, just go for that. So yeah, that's really it. And yeah, play some Pokemon Go, and so my boy Cheats right here. Okay, adios guys. Sort of a long one. There'll probably be longer. So, get to you guys later. Hey guys. So, you know, I've been starting to glass blow with my whole setup. Yeah, works great. So, to get through, we got oxygen concentrators right here. This is the one I repaired, got for $30. This is the $100 one. 16,000 hours, almost 36,000 hours. So yeah, both 5 liters per minute, running it at 4.5, so pretty much 90 liters per minute. And yeah, I didn't really adjust it, so that's that. And yeah, they work pretty well. After about 6-7 minutes of them running together, actually not even running together, just running, I noticed that this one usually will have turned to the orange light, and this one stays to green. And so yeah, you know, I was sort of concerned, so I decided to, you know, look it up, and I looked at the internal status lights in there that are connected to the PCB board, and they weren't flashing at all. So on Invacare manual, the Invacare Perfecto2 manual for the troubleshooting, if it's just orange light, no audio sound, or you know, no internal status blinking, then that means it's within range of good purity, I guess. So yeah, I mean, I was glad about that. So you know, I really just left it, and yeah, and then about, you know, 20 minutes ago, I made something. I'll show you guys later. It's pretty cool though. But it actually, when I looked at it just to, you know, see how they're doing when I was still making it, this one was actually orange. That was green. So I thought that was interesting. And then by the time I finished it, whatever, the thing I was doing, and about to turn them off, both of them were green. So, I mean, that's probably out here for 20-30 minutes, something like that. And you're really, I read on the manual that if you start these things up, then you should really at least run them for 30 minutes before you stop them, or else they'll, reduce the lifetime of these. So I think pretty much after 30 minutes, I think they're gonna be like good. It's gonna be pumping out above 85% oxygen purity. So the purity will be good. So yeah. I just got 1/4-inch tubing, a T, got a hose barb right here. It's going to, this. The green goes to here. You do both, whatever. And I was gonna. So you're supposed to light the gas first, and then do this thing right here. And actually, I think I know why now. Because whenever I light the gas first, it's a pretty big flame. It goes up, there's not much pressure, so it just goes up and it's really orange. Not enough oxygen. But then once you start adding oxygen, the flame, like if you don't increase the gas, the flame could actually go out. Like it gets really small, and then I'm sure the oxygen will just displace enough propane to where it can't recombust and stuff like that. So I think if you would add the oxygen in the gas together and then try to light it, it might not work, and it could probably build up pretty easily. So yeah, I'm sure that's why. I'm not sure, but it's probably one reason why. And then as what you do before. No, that isn't. No, never mind. Okay, so yeah. I was gonna get a little pressure relief valve, just like a plastic 10 psi or something like that. A pressure relief valve for here. But I sort of looked online. They seem pretty expensive, and I'm not gonna put any more money into it. So since there is 2 valves here, what I'm doing is I'm just opening up this one, which goes to here. This will, just make sure, the pressure doesn't build up. And then I light the gas, and then I start opening up this one while this one's still open. And then I'll actually start adding oxygen to the flame. And I start closing this, opening up more, closing it all the way. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And then when I turned off, open this up, sort of close it, start decreasing the gas, and eventually, once you go right there, once you keep on decreasing these, then yeah, you get a nice orange flame. And then you just wait till you see these at the bottom, and then you close that too. So yeah. And right here's the propane. I have this closed. I just didn't let off the pressure. This one is all the way down too, so yeah. And you can see here 150, a little above 150 psi. And this 5. Yeah, this actually this stuff will increase as pretty much as the day goes on, just because it gets hotter and hotter. Because in the morning it's around the 130, 140 psi. Now it's above 150 psi. So yeah, but yeah, so that's the whole setup. I finally, I think that's some glass right there. Finally put some bolts in here, so you know I don't have to worry about this moving the hoses, and then having it just, or when it's on, you know, I accidentally push it down and then straight at my face. Let's leave it. Okay, so yeah, here's my tools. These work fine, you know. Use this for the one I just did. It's pretty good, so this one keep for later. This one works pretty well too. These are just Harbor Freight stuff. This, I don't really use this that much, because I could just put it right here. And obviously I'm not gonna put this in the flame while, you know, I'm doing it, because it'll get really hot, and I'm not sure if you're supposed to do that kind of stuff. This, yeah, I haven't really done much with this yet. Really, this is like a bolt push or whatever, but yeah, put aluminum foil in here because this will absorb a lot of heat, and then, like, you know, you could do it, set it down, and then when you pick it up again, this thing's really hot, the handle, because this will absorb a lot of heat, you know, while it's doing whatever, and then when you set it down, it just starts dissipating, starts going hot to cold, so, you know, gets this thing heated up, and since it's really only, it's not like solid, it heats up pretty quickly, so I decided to just put aluminum foil in here. You know, it's gonna raise the heat capacity, and aluminum foil might sort of cool it down, you know, dissipate. I wouldn't say dissipate, but it may start radiating infrared heat. It's not much surface area, but yeah, and it's just a chunk of stuff. I actually use this just because it's more level than this. Plus, if I have anything a little bigger than this, I want to use that. I've really only done like 2-3 things. So here's my water. Yeah, this thing's actually sealed, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. That thing looks like a underwater, like an old submarine mask right there. Yeah, so this is just like sort of just scrap glass, and I'll just recycle whatever. Let's see. Okay, now to the brick. This thing was right there before, and I decided, I actually just had all the rods sort of just on there loosely, and yeah, I decided I'll put it right here, put some notches in it, you know, pretty good, and you can do pretty big stuff right here. Pretty much all these are pretty big stuff. Okay, that's good. I put right here these holes. You know, this is really good for when you got open projects, pretty much, or you pretty much have a what are those things called? Like a punty rod or whatever, and then you're just waiting. You're going to another thing to do or something to add on to that stuff, or you're just waiting for it to cool, you know. This is great. You just put it right there, boom, and yeah, you guys can see. I mean, I didn't really take too much time on this stuff, so the holes might be crooked, but yeah, it's nice, definitely nice, because you could do that. You know, that's actually not bad. But when you got a little more inconvenient stuff on the top, a little top heavy, it's gonna lean over right here. So yeah, and then that's just from the brick had that before because I drilled it in for something. was some gas furnace thing. And then here's my like V-shaped. I don't know what they're called, but really it's just heat up the. I think it's more for tubing. I guess it could be for rod, but I'm gonna be using it more for tubing. And you just heat the tubing, just sort of, just a little band. Get it right there, start rotating. This is aluminum, scrap aluminum I just had in my closet pretty much. Just from I don't know, it's just a project, probably the HHO project. And I just kept them because they're pretty uniform cut rectangles. So yeah, and it's a sort of glad I kept this, but yeah, you pretty much just start putting it down, start rotating it, and it starts tapering it a little more and more. And since it's aluminum, it absorbs heat really well, great thermal conductivity, so it's gonna go hot to cool, but this thing right here won't retain that much. It's getting dissipated, so it's gonna go all the way down there and whatever. Cools it down really quickly, creates a lot of stress right there, and then all you gotta do is, and it just cracks. I've done it once, so let's see. Let me see if I could show you the end result. Oops. The end result. Nope again. This was gonna be it. Yeah, this is a piece of crap. So yeah, can't show you the end result, but it's pretty good. Once you heat it up again, and then you can put a nice tubing there too. So. And these things are like $30 online. You can just make your own. That's why tools for this kind of stuff, glass blowing, even just glass blowing in general, sort of a rip-off. I mean, in the long run, you could probably pay it off just by selling what you make. But I mean, they definitely, I don't know. Something like this would probably cost like $15. This is definitely not $15. It's probably like $3 right here. And you can replace it. It's not that great though, gotta say. Tweezers. If I would have gone, glass blowing tweezers, which are probably the same thing, would have been a lot more. This paddle. This is actually a glass blowing paddle, but I got this thing for $8. It's just a replacement thing. If you were to get a handle, or this with the handle, it's like $30 or something. It's just like, this is definitely not $22 right here. This is like less than $1. This whole thing's like $1. $10 paddle. That's for free, actually. The guy at West County Glass in Sebastopol gave me this for free because it's just a broken piece, and yeah, very nice. So, yeah, I think that's really all. But I'm starting to get pretty, starting to really get it. This is pretty bad. This is actually not too bad. I mean, it doesn't really even matter when it comes to these, how even they are, because this is just you don't want to have your hand right here and the flame right here, and as long as it may not look symmetrical right here, but it's even out to here, so it doesn't wobble. So and that's pretty easy to make, or easy to get a non-wobbly thing if you just have a punty rod one end, and then an actual hot seal, whatever, I don't know what they're called, on the other, and then you just sort of keep on rotating sort of wait till it's cool and keep on rotating, and it's perfect. So yeah, a pretty cool thing I've been doing is for the tubing. It's a brake tubing, so I got let me show you. Let's see, got this type of tubing right here. It's I don't really feel like, whenever I've you know, just broke this by hand, snapped it, it makes a really big chip right there, or really big chip right there, or something. I don't think it's that. I think it's more over here. So yeah, I don't really like that, but you guys can see how, you know, it's pretty good, and yeah, this is really just the, you just get, here, let me see. All you do is, you know, you get your little speedy sharp blade, diamond coated right there, I don't know, and then you just squirt a little right there, put some water on it, and then with a rod like this, just heat it up, get a little ball on it, get to where it's almost like yellow, not like orange, but almost yellow hot, and just press it on there, keep it on there for like 10-15 seconds, and then it'll just, and you have to get it where there's water too, right on the crack, or right on the score, water, and then 10-15 seconds go by, and the thing will just pretty clean. So yeah, I've just been doing that. It's pretty cool. Definitely better than what I've been doing. So you guys can see some of the, I mean, that's sort of more what it's still good, you know. You guys, this is unpolished, you know, still good. So yeah, and let's see, my goggles, they've been working, so yeah, I'm not gonna complain. They're not fogging up, even though I'm like really I'm sweating a bunch. They're not fogging up, and I think it's just the heat. The lenses are too hot to condense all that vapor or whatever. So yeah, I think that's really it. Yeah, the Kiln, nice. I haven't used it yet with this stuff because I've been making small models, and I've just been practicing too. I've been making like small models. I'm not gonna fire up the Kiln until I got like a bunch of those. So yeah, the ventilation unit works great. The only thing that smells is really this. It'll heat up. This is still hot, but yeah, this will heat up, and it just, I don't know how to describe it. It smells like something's burning. Yeah, it's just the brick. Maybe smells like sort of earthy, and then sort of just smells like a cigar too. So yeah, but yeah, I think that's gonna be the tour. Yeah, actually, this I gotta replace. That's not gonna work, you know. If there's an earthquake, this isn't gonna do. So yeah, I'm gonna place this. The bricks are actually like fairly hot though. Everything's good over here. Back here, I've tested it. There's no like hot spots back here, so that's just dirt right there, not like a flame charring. So yeah, but you know, it's pretty good. So yeah, I'm gonna go into my room, grab the things I've made, and then I'll show you guys. Okay, back in my room, and let me get these set up. Pretty cool. Yeah. Except one of them. So yeah, there we go. So here's the one I was making. Just made about 40 minutes ago probably. You guys can see there's a crack right there. There's a crack, and then this is unpolished. And yeah, I put my I don't know what's called, the punny rod or whatever, right there. And yeah, so this thing, I ended up disconnecting this first, and then since there's room right here, I thought, okay, I'll just let this cool, break it, break it off, and then sort of just smooth it out. But yeah, it just sort of made it crack right there, and I still didn't be able to do that. So pretty much, well, no. First, I would just have to warm it up first, like, just sort of heat it up. Maybe get it to where it's like orange. It's not gonna do much right there, so just do that. And then go at it a little more. Obviously, if I only have it like this, I'm not gonna do some gnarly flame that's gonna heat this thing up orange. My fingers are gonna be on fire, so I just sort of skipped out on that one. Yeah, it's pretty thick glass, so there'd definitely be stresses. This thing wasn't even annealed, before. So yeah, I mean, it's a learning experience. I really should have put the punty rod here. So I had a punty rod here when I was disconnecting this. Okay, I disconnected this. Before I let it cool down, I should have disconnected this, flame annealed it, whatever, or not flame, just like flame polish, just melt this thing into it. Okay. And then, I guess before that, I should have put a punty right here. Just boom. And then did that. And then, let it cool, probably 30 minutes, because this is pretty thick glass. This is like an inch of glass, an inch by 3/4. And obviously there's some tapering, but whatever, you guys get it. It's pretty thick. It's gonna take a while for it to cool down. Although you can use that to your advantage. Maybe not. Take it back. Never mind. But unless you want to get into a kiln pretty quickly, a top loader, that's not gonna work. Never mind. But yeah, so really should have just put that, and then at the end, once it's cooled down, break it off, and then just flame anneal this part. I did notice, you guys see, I hope you guys can see this. It's frosted at the end. Yeah, it looks like there's fingerprints or oil on it. I believe that's just the no, I could feel it. I'm pretty sure that's just the sodium, maybe the boron is just it. You guys can see the, when you do this stuff, you got the sodium flare, and obviously the sodium flare means there's sodium ions in the flame, so that means it's coming out of the glass, going into the flame. So I mean, if you got too much sodium ions coming out, I mean, just the sodium's leaving the glass, and then yeah, I think it just gets frosted. So yeah, that's why I didn't really want to put the punty rod on there, but I didn't really want to hit it again. But yeah, whatever, I learned. But other than that, it's pretty good. I mean, really what I did, I got a pretty thick glass, like 1/2 inch rod. Started heating it up, getting to like a nice rounded thing, and then you gotta point it, or you gotta have the rod pretty much pointing up, going into the flame, So then, still rotating it. So then the gravity is gonna push a lot of that glass down, and it's gonna start going into a ball instead of elongating, into like more of a teardrop. And then you sort of hit the other side, you sort of press it, you do stuff, whatever. And then you'll press it down, and really it'd be right here. You press it down, and then you add a little, it's almost like a Hershey kiss to the glass. Or, I mean, you put make a nice seal, a nice hot seal, to the little disc you just did, and then to like a 1/2 inch rod. You start pushing glass into it, and then you like I said, like a Hershey kiss pretty much once you disconnect the glass. And then what you do, you just get it hot, you try to merge the two, you sort of press it on your graphite pads or whatever, and then you sort of smooth it out, stuff like that. And yeah, and like the imperfections of this thing makes it look like a mushroom too. You guys see the rod, or this part? This is just from trying to pull some of the stuff, pretty much trying to taper it. This was smaller than the actual diameter. This is closer to what the real diameter of the rod was that I was using. So you pretty much just pull it out, but then it's getting too hot, pulls out too much, so then you push it back in. And yeah, it just starts getting little ripples and stuff like that, but it makes it look more authentic. That's cool. And before I did that, while I still had this thing right here, I with a pick. Let's see, Harbor Freight pick. I can show you. It comes in a set. It's like these kinds of picks. Although this was the straight pick. I just made grid marks on the bottom, and it looks like a mushroom. So yeah, pretty glad with that. Color would be cool. I do like clear though. Clear is cool. Plus, it probably won't be color is a lot harder too. So, as I hear, but yeah. So before that, I made this little goose. It's not bad. You guys can see. It's not great either. The good thing is the body shape. You guys can see. Let's get this. You guys can see right here, and then right there. I mean, it's all one rod. You just compress it right here into almost like a marble, and then you start elongating it, start heating up more one side of the marble, start going right there, cool it down, and then you heat up a little over here, and then you stretch that, so then you get to a nice stuff like that. And in the end, you do later, but yeah, so it's, like that. Put little eyes on here. Hope you guys see that. Here's the wings. Not great. They look like more like fly wings than feathery goose wings. But yeah, one of the things I did here that was wrong was I put the legs on first. Actually, wasn't sure what I was gonna do, but I put very small legs, these things, first, which really screwed it up. The legs weren't good at all. Anyways, but you guys see the other leg right over here. It pretty much merged into the wing, because when I was trying to get the wing seal onto here, you guys seal all the way around and sort of hit the leg, and the leg heats up almost right away, starts crippling, So Yeah, but the wings, I mean, it's pretty cool. The wings, you know, you just get rod, you get a nice marble on there, you fine it into a disc with your graphite paddle and the marver, whatever that thing's on, the graphite thing is on the, you guys get it, and just flatten it into a disc, heat it up, with the tweezers start pulling out, you know, just elongating it. Once you get something like that, then you put a punchy rod right there. I hope I'm saying that right. Punchy rod, I don't know. Right there, and then, you know, sort of around here, you start heating the glass, or more around here, you start heating up the glass. It gets elongated, and boom. You stretch it out, and whatever. And then, still with the punchy rod, you apply it onto here. You heat up this first because it's a lot bigger, you know, it's thicker glass. Heat that up first, and then you start heating this up, and then you just merge it. These aren't great merges because I was trying to avoid getting the legs all crippled, so they're not great. Yeah, and yeah, and then you sort of just vibrate the thing. You sort of just, you know, do the like that, and punchy rod just comes right off. So that's cool. You guys see here it's frosted too. You know, just had it too long on there. It looks like almost like a fingerprint, you know, finger oil. Just had too long on there. Yeah, just had a punchy rod in here. So when I got this one out, kept a little right there. Then I pressed it. Tried to put a little texture on there. It's not great. But yeah, it's overall it's sort of cool. You know, you go. Oops. Man, I hope this video isn't too good or too bad. I have this thing. Man, how many? I got 9 minutes left. Have this thing. You know, without a GoPro, without a tripod. No. But yeah. It's cooler when I got 2 hands, but you guys see in the mirror. Yeah. Yeah. Stands up pretty nice. And that'll be cool to make really, you know, fighter planes and whatever. Very cool. Do the twisty thing. And here's the first thing. The first little sculpture I made. This thing's a piece of crap. But if you look at the body, it's pretty good actually. Besides the little kink right here. And a little too much on that one. But you know, it's elongated, just like that. It's nice. Tail's a little stupid too. And then, you know, it goes up. Yeah, it's just nice. Looks like sort of like a Loch Ness monster. If you didn't have this thing. Yeah, I didn't really want to put wings on it because I didn't really know if I could put wings on it. It's the first one. So I just put some weird thing. This thing was supposed to spiral, but yeah, it is pretty bad. So, you know, you guys can see right here. It's like, okay, got it. And then you have it on the flame too much, and then it just thins out really quickly. And you curve it, and then it gets a little thick, and then you just start like, yeah, it's not great. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much it. This thing's probably the best thing I've made so far. It actually looks pretty much like a mushroom, which is cool. The inside would be really cool if this thing was good. And the chip wasn't there, or the crack wasn't there. But for the most part, it took me like 20 minutes. It took me 20 minutes because of this thing's so thick. Gotta be honest, this thing took a little while. Plus I'm just new at this. But I was thinking, you know, I mean that's pretty thick glass, like an inch. I wasn't really expecting to do that stuff, and I was expecting to do tubing, which I did try tubing today. Tried to do some, blowing some stuff, and just not used to the heat pretty much, because with regular propane, the tubing takes a long time to heat up. So you got time. It doesn't get things don't get like overly hot if you rotate it. A little weird. It all dissipates nice. So when you do it, it's pretty uniform. With this, it's not like that. And it heats up pretty quick, and then you just leave it like this a little too much, and then all of a sudden the thing's all lopsided. Like before you blow into it, you leave it on one side, so you gotta keep on rotating it. Plus you gotta let it cool down a little. Let everything evenly, laterally, not just longitude, laterally. Because sometimes the flame isn't big enough to catch the, you sort of gotta move it a little like that, so. Yeah, that's that. And I'll practice more on that stuff. Yeah, it's just a little pain. Well, first of all, I don't really have that much tubing. Yeah, I need to get thicker stuff, so then I could. It's way easier with thicker stuff. I tried the really thin stuff I have. That worked great with the propane. Just regular propane hot head torch, Burnzomatic TS4000. But no, this thing just like it collapses the tubing. That's how. Man, it's hot. So yeah, that's really it. And yeah, I'll keep you guys updated. But I really want to sell some of this stuff. Like this. This can actually sell. I don't know if it can sell. It looks really cool though. Obviously I'm gonna have to have a lot more practice, but I got time. I actually only got 3 more weeks of summer left. Today's a Monday, so this week, next week, 1 more week, and that's all. And yeah, it just doesn't feel like I've made that many YouTube videos. I haven't really. So I'm gonna upload this one today. Make sure to upload it today. I might actually edit this one. And yeah, that's really it. So, oh, one more thing. Since this thing took so long, because it's really thick. I mean, it doesn't really matter too much, but I don't know. I was thinking I could get a home fill system. Probably not now, but later on. A home fill system for Invacare home fill. That's the it goes from the oxygen concentrators to a compressor thing that compresses the oxygen into an oxygen tank, just a small medical oxygen tank. If I do that, just run those things for 5 hours pretty much, do that, I can run the big torch probably for like an hour, 45 minutes, definitely enough. So, or probably not enough, but if I'm just doing one thing like this, yeah, it's gonna be fun. So yeah, I sort of want to get one of those, but I'm gonna have to wait because okay, gotta eat. But yeah, I gotta wait till Craigslist has some stuff. So yeah, that's really it. I'll keep my eye on Craigslist. I've been keeping my eye on Craigslist. I don't really want to spend more money. get a nice 2-month buffer, and then spend some more money. Take it to the next step. But yeah, that's it. And see you guys maybe tomorrow.